So, I've been doing the rounds with my last video, the first ever State of Break episode, because God forbid this platform actually promotes people's videos, and some friends had told me that I left out a lot of complaints that people had about the game, and worried that I was coming off as disingenuous. I do agree that there was a lot I intentionally left out, but that's because I want these videos to remain short and snappy, because personally, I can't stand YouTubers that rattle on for 2 hours about the same 2 bits of info they repeat 20 different times. Also, shorter videos are easier for my belligerently depressed ADHD brain to produce. But the other reason was that I felt that a majority of the problems I didn't view as actual problems. Most of it is the natural consequences of live service games aging over time, which have been overblown by Zoomers who have been conditioned by doom-scrolling culture. Such as today's topic, the bots. Boy, are people enthusiastically vocal about the bots and pinning them as the cause of their divorce. Right now, the game is quote-unquote infested with bots. If you were to hop into a new account right now, start at bronze rank, you're going to be dealing with teammates and opponents that are almost entirely composed of bots up until Diamond or Master, in which that's the threshold where you start encountering humans semi-regularly. People are big mad that they're being denied the supposed right to get bodied by Twitch streamers for such a long period of time. They're convinced that the game will be better without bots. This discourse makes me feel like that one meme from Saving Private Ryan, because I remember a time where bots in multiplayer games didn't incite such vitriol. In fact, for a long time, bots were considered a gold standard that every multiplayer game had to include. In a time where not everyone had easy internet access, or could afford Xbox Live, or had friends that didn't think video games were a virginity stamp, how else were you going to experience the multiplayer mode that came packed in with every FPS game? But since the 2010s, having bots in your games is a crime worthy of being burned at the stake. I think this happened for 2 reasons. 1, there were too many games that had shitty bots that ended up souring people's perceptions of them. 2, it was the result of corporate propaganda. Game corporations realized that creating good bots was a dedicated craft in itself that required specialists, and if they were going to feed their poor starving garages with more classic cars, it would be so much easier if they gaslit gamers into thinking that bots were a bad thing, so they wouldn't complain when they're gone. It wouldn't be the first time. Just look at how they changed people's minds about microtransactions, loot boxes, consoles that are always stalking you, and games that you can't lend to people. These used to be things that fucking floored people, but now are apathetically accepted, if not outright celebrated. Don't let them keep doing this to you. You're better than that. I believe in you. And I believe that bots are not only good for Mecha Break, but removing them would make the game 200% worse. For one, bots are an absolute necessity to keep the queue times low. Y'all need to understand that this is a mecha-themed hero shooter. Mecha media in general is an extremely niche genre, and hero shooters are going out of fashion faster than the fidget spinner. There's no way this game will pull numbers like Marvel Rivals, so to ensure that people who are playing it won't have to suffer unbearable queue times, bots are the most elegant solution to ensure that players can actually play the game. There are players who are trying to queue up with an all-human stack right now, and they're already complaining about waiting an hour or longer on North American servers for a match. And I guarantee those humans aren't even going to be at an even skill level, so it's probably not even going to be a close game. That's the kind of experience everyone is going to have if bots are gone. Bots also help keep the game playable as the game ages. Many multiplayer games eventually die because the player base inevitably shrinks, which means the queue times become longer, which makes even more players drop the game, thus accelerating the death spiral. But as the player base shrinks, only the really good and really sweaty players remain, and because they have no one to play with but themselves, sex joke, the core player base gets even better and even sweatier, thus creating a skill gap that new players will be unable to catch up to. By populating these new players with bot matches early in their career, it creates a safety bubble that allows them to hone their skills, allowing them to catch up to the more experienced players instead of getting immediately curb stomped and feeling too discouraged to ever give the game a fair chance. So by giving existing players the ability to still play the game, and by providing new players a safe space to familiarize themselves with the gameplay, good bots pull double duty in preventing a niche game from experiencing a death spiral. Sure, maybe the length of time new players are trapped with bots might be a bit much right now, but why are y'all in such a rush to deal with people anyways? I know for a fact most of you don't like interacting with people in real life, so why are you so impatient to interact with the hard R gamers? Is it because you think that being matched with people will provide better matches that are closer to your actual skill level? Well, I hate to tell you this, but Santa Claus isn't real, Jesus was probably black, and prioritizing human matches isn't going to guarantee better match quality. Even in games with massive player bases like Marvel Rivals or Street Fighter 6, it's exceedingly hard for games to find evenly matched players all the time due to an uncountable number of factors, and that's before we consider things like player smurfing. It's always going to be a rarity no matter what to get good even matches. If anything, you are more likely to get close matches when playing against bots that are tuned to your current skill level than you would be queuing against randos. But if the very idea of being pitted against bots still offends you, then what can be done to address this supposed problem? Well, there's really only one solution: player population. If there are more people playing, then that means queues can be shortened and the game doesn't have to rely on bots so much to populate matches. So go out there, leave a positive review on Steam or Game Pass if you haven't already. Be sure to launch the game using Steam instead of the proprietary launcher to bolster the Steam charts. Tell your favorite streamers you want them to be playing more Mecha Break, and get your friends to try it out and sing its praises at every opportunity, especially in moments where it's most inappropriate. I want y'all to be fucking your partners, and as you're climaxing, I need you to be screaming about buffing Welkin. This video has been brought to you by the Church of Welkin. All hail the mighty cuckbox.